The Rudolph Grotto Garden, located just north of the Wisconsin State Dairy Cheese Company, is the third Catholic devotional grotto in the upper Midwest. Construction began in 1919 and continues today, though it officially ended with Father Wagner's death in 1959. Philip J. Wagner was born in 1882 in Iowa and studied priesthood in Innsbruck, Austria. He became ill during his time in Austria and sought recovery at a shrine in Lourdes, France. Promising to build in Mary's honor a shrine in Wisconsin, he prayed that she restore his health. Wagner returned to the United States and was sent to Rudolph in 1917 with instructions to preach in English and establish a church and a school. The new school was completed in 1920. In 1919, prior to the completion of the new school building, and 9 years before the first actual grotto was begun, Father Wagner began to establish a landscape scheme, transforming a potato field into a labyrinth of garden spaces, as well as planting dozens of varieties of trees and shrubs throughout. By the summer of 1927, the demanding landscape project was well on its way when Wagner made his first attempt at fulfilling his promise to build a shrine to Our Lady of Lourdes.
Alright, so what is your name?
My name is Chris Wilford, and I'm the groundskeeper here at the Grotto. I've been here since 1989. I started volunteering, and now I'm the head volunteer of the volunteers.
Okay, so what got you involved in working at the Grotto?
I started helping. I lived here all my life. When the school was here, my mom went to school here. I went to school. My kids went to school here. I lived here all my life. I moved away for a few years, and then when I came back to live in Rudolph, then coming up here, noticing things needed to be done. So it's time, okay, because I had some time. So then I started helping and being involved, and then just kept evolving that way, and here I am.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Could you give us a brief history of how the Grotto came to be?
Sure. Father Wagner was studying to be a priest. He's from Iowa, and he was studying to be a priest, and he was finishing up his studies in Europe, and then he got sick, so he went to Lourdes to pray that if he got better, he'd build a shrine in honor of Mary, he promised, and he did. And then he finished his studies, and then he toured Europe. That's where he got some of the ideas of how to do it and what he wanted to do. He wasn't sure exactly. He never built anything or did anything before. So then in 1914, when actually Rudolph was a mile over on Fifth Avenue, and then when the railroads came through, Rudolph started growing here. So then when he was brought here as a priest, he was assigned here. It was actually a mile over there, and so they got some money, and they got some land donated, and then they started building here. It was a better, it was by the people, and it was a better location, kind of thing. So then everything you see out here was been built, brought in, done by hand. So then he just started building and started out with a little saucer pan and mixing cement to mixing cement with a mixer. So it just evolved in learning his trade. So.
All right. Did you know Mr. Rybicki?
Mr. Edmund Rybicki, yep. I knew Edmund pretty good. Worked with him for a little bit. Really easygoing and very nice person. Very funny. Because I said one time, I said, well, there used to be a big log across here, and they brought it in. It was huge, and I says, well, okay, you weren't using any cranes, and you weren't using anything like that. How did you get it there? He says, well, I jacked it up, locked it up, tipped it over. Jacked it up, locked it up, tipped it over. And I eventually got it there in 2 days. I got it where I wanted to put it.
I thought, that's amazing.
Yeah, he was very easygoing and very friendly and very, and he started helping Father when he was 12. He lived just, when you go from Rudolph up the road here from the church and the Grotto, straight up is where he grew up. So then he started helping here after school and stuff, and then Father liked it because he enjoyed nature. He had the same value. He wanted to do the same type of thing and work. So then he started helping, and then his dad let him do that because he had other brothers on the farm, and it was important. His dad felt it was important for him to help Father, and so then he continued on, and then he got married, and he had to go into service, and I didn't realize, but he won 5 medals in service, and then he came home, and then he continued with the grotto.
What is your favorite part of the grotto?
Well, I like it all. I like the cave, but I never liked going in there and having to change the light bulbs and that kind of thing. So that part, I like cleaning up. I like. There's no specific part. Probably all of it, all connected. I like doing the museum part. But as far as the grounds themselves, I think it's pretty all equal.
What do you see for the future of the grotto?
Well, now we have this new welcome center donated this last year now. I feel it should be, I think there's a future here. I know it's been here, and it's so interesting to see people coming. When people say, oh, I'm looking for a certain rock or a certain place, because my grandma brought me when I was little, so I'm bringing my kids because I'm a grandma. So you see that evolving that way, and I think people are starting to come back around to coming to the grotto. Back in the 40s and the 30s, I mean, there was 52,000 people that used to come. It's mind-boggling to me. And now there's so many other things, and now people are kind of coming back to basics again. It's nice to go to the small places, the places that you come in as a family, and you can have a lunch, and you can picnic, and you can go play in the swing, and they can walk around. So it's getting back to those basics. I think it's going to come back around now that with Facebook, it's hard to advertise and tell people you're here. So now with those types of people are finding out, oh, okay, people who live 5 miles away, it's like, oh, grotto what? Grotto where? Oh, and then on internet or Facebook, they see this and it's like, oh, then, so I think it's going to become popular again, I believe. So I think there's a future here, and I think it's just a matter of keeping it going and keeping it, things done and nice looking. So,
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Starting off our tour is the 10 Commandments. Look at all those commandments. Wow.
The second stop on our tour is the small stone church. A sidewalk leads to the small stone church built in 1940 by Father. The church was built indoors over the winter, then installed in sections. It is too small to enter, but we can peek in through the windows. In the center of the gardens is a sunken fern garden and fish pond. Reconstructed in 1954, a bridge of stone and concrete goes over the garden and leads to the World War II memorial. The smaller lighthouse and water wheel were added by Edmund Rybicki. Leaving the cabin, we are here at the World War II Memorial Shrine. Here, Father Wagner experimented with broken glass mosaics. Next to the world's smallest stone church, a tiny log cabin holds a diorama of a distinctly central Wisconsin scene. We can see toy soldiers drilling at Camp McCoy, a colorful shrine on a hilltop above a log cabin village, airplanes and semi-trucks driving along a country road, as well as hunters and farm buildings. Now we are at the main attractions of the gardens, the Wonder Cave. It wasn't until 1957 until the ambitious Wonder Cave was finished. Thousands of tons of rocks were hauled in from local farms over the years and used to create the shrines and unique formations of the grotto. The Wonder Cave, the main attraction of the gardens, is a 1/5-mile passageway featuring 26 shrines and was patterned after the catacombs in Rome. The hand-carved plaques and statues were made from marble imported from Canara, Italy, by the request of Wagner. A variety of shells, marbles, tiles, and colored glass all give the grotto its distinct look. Walking through the gardens and learning the history of the grotto, one really does see a story unfold, one forever entwined with the grotto and the surrounding community. It is a story about Father Philip Wagner's commitment to keeping his word, as well as a story about how that commitment inspired others. The history of the Grotto Gardens has undoubtedly influenced the rest of Rudolph. by bringing in tourists as well as serving as the spiritual center of the town.